March 27th, 2017. Rio Branco, Brazil. A young man named Bruno Borges vanishes without a trace. But this was no ordinary disappearance. Bruno was a 24-year-old psychology student who spent his free time on what he called a secretive project, something that would, in his words, change humanity in a good way. For months, he had been asking his family for money, thousands of dollars. But he refused to explain why. He wouldn't reveal what he was creating behind the locked door of his bedroom. His family grew concerned, but Bruno just assured them, "Trust me, this will change everything." Then, after a family dinner on that March evening, Bruno disappeared. His father, finally entering the always locked bedroom, froze. He didn't see a bed. He didn't see any furniture. He saw only what his son had created, and what he saw defied comprehension. Every single wall, from floor to ceiling, was covered in encrypted messages. Strange symbols, cryptic formulas, diagrams that seemed to depict dimensions beyond our own understanding. The floor was covered with Illuminati iconography and strange symbols. On display were 14 handwritten books, each marked with Roman numerals. Hundreds of pages filled with indecipherable code. And in the center of the room stood a statue, a towering figure worth $2,500. The statue depicted Giordano Bruno, a 16th century philosopher. Giordano Bruno was executed in 1600 for his beliefs. He was one of the first people to publicly express thoughts about the existence of extraterrestrial life, believing in the infinity of inhabited worlds. On Bruno Borges's wall hung a bizarre self-portrait. In it, he stood side by side with an alien. According to his mother, Bruno had been working on this project since 2013, but he'd intensified his efforts in the past year. The incredible transformation of his room had taken only about 25 days while his parents were away. His siblings, who were still in the house, reported that Bruno never left his room, not once. He stayed locked inside, creating his temple of secrets. The entire project cost approximately $6,000. He'd gotten the money from a cousin after showing him just 15 pages of his writing. What could that cousin have possibly read that made him willing to fund this obsession? When the family tried to contact Bruno, his cell phone was turned off. He had left with no money, no documents, just the clothes on his back. Days passed, then weeks. Bruno Borges had simply vanished into thin air. Then, a mysterious video tour of his bedroom was leaked online. Shot by an unknown person, it revealed the inner world of a mind consumed by something far beyond our understanding. The video went viral. The case exploded across social media. People from all around the world became obsessed with decoding Bruno's messages. Facebook pages were created. Twitter threads emerged. The disappearance even inspired mobile phone games. Bruno became known as Menino do Acre, the boy from Acre. Internet investigators got to work, trying to decipher the codes. Two people from another Brazilian state used photographs posted online to break encryptions that were UNA even in the key. Bruno had left behind. One of them, a professional in encryption, cracked the code in just 30 minutes. But what they found only deepened the mystery. Investigators also discovered audio recordings of Bruno claiming he could travel via astral projection, that he could project himself to other dimensions whenever he felt the need. When police tracked down Jorge Rivas Plata, the artist who created the statue, he expressed a chilling opinion. He believed Bruno Borges was the reincarnation of the philosopher Giordano Bruno himself, the very same man who died 400 years ago, and whose statue watched over Bruno's cryptic temple. So, was Bruno Borges simply a brilliant mind working on revolutionary theories? Or had he uncovered something forbidden, something that required him to disappear? Then, investigators made a disturbing discovery. Contracts, signed just 17 days before Bruno vanished. These were agreements guaranteeing percentages of his future book sales to several of his friends. In the home of one friend, police found Bruno's Baden furniture, the very items removed to create that eerie room. Both friends had signed contracts at a notary's office on the exact day Bruno disappeared. Authorities began to suspect the truth. This wasn't an abduction. This wasn't alien contact. This was a marketing scheme, a carefully orchestrated disappearance designed to create publicity for Bruno's books. On August 11th, 2017. 137 days after he vanished, Bruno Borges reappeared. His return came shortly after his first book became a bestseller in Brazil. He told police he had disappeared of his own free will and was not coerced by anyone. He returned dehydrated, having lost a significant amount of weight. Bruno and his mother denied it was a publicity stunt. He insisted his main goal was to encourage people to seek knowledge and that the accusations came from sensationalist media. But so many questions remain. Why did he need to disappear? What was he running from? Or what was he running asterisk? Toward asterisk, one of his friends later sued him, accusing Bruno of not handing over the book proceeds as they had contracted. The case was eventually closed, labeled as planned marketing. But for those who saw that room, who studied those walls covered in symbols and encrypted text, they couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. Perhaps Bruno Borges really did uncover something. Perhaps his 14 books contain knowledge that shouldn't be shared openly. Maybe the disappearance was necessary, not for publicity, but for protection. Or perhaps he truly believed he was Giordano Bruno reborn, a man destined to share forbidden knowledge about extraterrestrial life and alternate dimensions. A man who, like his predecessor, would be persecuted for his beliefs. The statue still exists. The books have been published. The codes have been broken. But the real question remains unanswered. What did Bruno Borges truly discover during those 25 days locked in his room? And where did he really go for the 137 days he was missing? Some mysteries are solved with evidence and investigation. Others are buried beneath layers of encrypted text and corporate explanations. The room in Rio Branco sits empty now. The walls have been painted over, the symbols erased. But if you listen closely in the silence, some say you can still hear the scratching of a pen on paper, the whispered calculations of a mind touching something beyond our reality. Bruno Borges returned, but did all of him come back? Or did he leave a part of himself behind in whatever dimension he visited? Perhaps we'll never know, or perhaps his books hold the answer, written in code, just waiting for someone brave enough to truly understand. The statue of Giordano Bruno Borges still waiting, always waiting. What do you think really happened to the boy from Acre? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysteries. See you next time.